So, the second Black Panther movie just came out the other day, and to be honest, about 50 to 60% of it was fine. If you're going to watch this movie purely for entertainment, then I'd say it's adequate. The movie, I think, tries to do a lot, and it inadvertently ends up doing very little, with some parts of the plot making little to no sense, to me at least. For example, the discovery of vibranium by the American ship. Now, I assume the Talokanil have managed to keep their city and their vibranium hidden. Think about all the activity that goes on in the oceans, from deep sea oil exploration to seismic tests and even documentary filmmaking. Shit, even fishermen do their thing in the oceans.
I'm the fisherman. I'm robbing the place.
Okay, the point I'm trying to make is that these guys must definitely have a way to hide themselves from the outside world, and they've been doing it for a minute and a half. Now, my question is, how is it that the vibranium was discovered by what is essentially a fancy metal detector? But because of this discovery, we get to meet this guy. How convenient.
But my enemies call me Namor.
And I must say that everything he does is a question mark in my head. For starters, he leaves his kingdom, which is somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico, and goes all the way to Central Africa just so he can get the Wakandans to help him in his mission, which is to find the person who made that fancy metal detector and kill her. So, naturally, I have a few questions about this course of action, and the first is, why not find and kill the scientist yourself? As the old saying goes, if you want something done right, you best do it yourself. And my second question is, why would you ever think that the Wakandans would ever help you with anything? Is it because they refuse to share their resources with a world that needs it? Is it because they stood by and watched as their neighbors were colonized and enslaved? And my third and fourth questions are, how did you find out about this scientist in the first place, and how does killing her help solve your problem? Also, what's the reasoning behind trying to kill a girl who inadvertently found your secret stash and doing nothing about a guy who wipes out half of your population? But now, because of his little visit to Wakanda, Okoye and Shuri decide to go after the scientist themselves. They find the scientist, who happens to be a college student, and they decide to protect her because, she's innocent. But alas, before they can get comfortable up on that high horse of theirs, lo and behold, the feds are on the scene. Therefore, a super awesome chase scene is only logical. You wanna hear something kinda messed up? Our heroes, who claim to have the moral high ground of not killing innocent people, help someone kill at least a dozen law enforcement officers who, mind you, were just doing their jobs. So, how does that track? But at the end of the chase sequence, they end up on a bridge next to a water body. How convenient, right? However, what's even more convenient, my dear friend, is that Namor's foot soldiers are waiting to ambush them. Now, this is all a bit too convenient for my taste, but c'est la vie. You can imagine that these foot soldiers were ordered to kill the young scientist since that was their leader's original plan, but guess what? They don't kill her. And they don't do it just because the princess of another country told them not to do it. So they end up abducting the princess and the scientist. Professional, huh? At this point, I'd like to take a step back and point out a very glaring inconsistency with the movie. Just how is it that the Wakandans can understand Talokanil? I know Shuri's AI is doing some translation on the bridge, but how can it translate what it doesn't know? What's even more interesting is that Nakia speaks perfect Talokanil while trying to save Shuri and Riri. And here's my logic, as I see it. This civilization has been isolated from the rest of the world for centuries. Surely, they must have developed some sort of hybrid language from the original Aztec. So, how do the Wakandans understand it? Also, why do the Americans go after vibranium? I mean, I get it. I get the need for power and dominating the enemy. But if it's power they want, why not go after the Infinity Stones? All they need is a time machine after all. And why do they have only one vibranium detector? Is that really how strategic equipment is designed and produced? So everyone's like, oh, I've got an idea. Let's make a super awesome, super advanced fighter jet. And let's not bother engineers with blueprints and all that schematic bullshit. Tell them to make just one. But, sir, what if it gets blown out of the sky? Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. However, back to the ocean where Namor is trying to convince Shuri that they should join forces and kill everyone on the surface. Perhaps killing one scientist wasn't enough? But see, an alliance with the princess doesn't make sense. She's not the queen, let alone the Black Panther, so what forces does she have? Anyway, Shuri and Riri are rescued by Nakia, who in turn kills two of Namor's people. And how does he respond? By flooding Wakanda and drowning the Queen. And if you thought that the alliance was off the table, you could not be further from the truth. You see, he kills her mother and expects her to ally herself with him. You know what? These alliance building strategies do not impress me. I don't know why. And at this point, I'd like to pose another question. How does Namor get in and out of Wakanda as he pleases? You will imagine they'd have better security than this, huh? And if he can do that, then what else can he do? How about the police? Can he control the police?
Police! Take this piece of shit to jail. I told you, he's an ice-cold dick killer.
But anyway, to avenge her mother's death, Shuri creates a synthetic Black Panther potion by combining, get this, a bracelet Namor gave her and her brother's DNA. And I have so many questions about this, but I'm gonna ask just one. Why T'Challa's DNA? Does it have elements of the purple herb? And if it does, then shouldn't the Black Panther gene be passed from one generation to another through birth? However, she drinks the potion, gathers an army, or is it a navy, and leads them into the ocean to do battle with the ocean dwellers. And I simply have to ask, why? Why would you lead your army into the enemy's territory where they are at their strongest? Why not lure them onto land where they are weak and you can pick them off easily? They came once and they can come again. Now, you can probably justify this by pointing out that anger and revenge clouded her judgment, but the truth is, there is no real reason why she would ever do this. If she was clear-minded enough to make the dehumidifier plan, then she was clear-minded enough to make a proper land-based plan of attack. Oh shit, a dehumidifier plan? Maybe she wasn't clear-minded enough. Anyway, Namor and Shuri go at it on a desert beach, and the girl gets the business end of a spear shoved right through her stomach, and apparently she escapes unharmed. And I must ask, how? If people can survive spears right through the guts, then what are the stakes?
Act like you got some goddamn sense, people! Damn!
And I know what you're gonna say, but Patrick, she's wearing a Black Panther suit which most likely healed her wounds quick fast. But here's the thing, other Patrick, Eric Killmonger, remember him? He was wearing a Black Panther suit when he got stabbed right through the chest and he died. This comes to you from the official Marvel website. Allow me to share. They tumbled down to the nation's vast vibranium mines, and when T'Challa saw a way to disrupt Eric Killmonger's suit, he pressed his advantage and brought his rival down, stabbing him with his own weapon. I have nothing more to say, except this. Why does Shuri let Namor live? He kills her mother and numerous Wakandans, and she just lets him go back home. One thing I loved about Civil War was that Marvel never shies away from conflict. Sure, T'Challa doesn't kill Zemo, but he doesn't just let him walk away either. And Tony's attitude towards Bucky is completely understandable and expected.
Living, I'm not done with you yet.
But do you want to know what's not understandable? Shuri's actions. She lets the enemy walk away, or is it swim away? Absolutely scot-free. Do actions not have consequences anymore?
I am Mr. Nimbus!
Hey man, how the hell you doing?